Over these last few years, I'm sure you've heard something about the 3D program Blender. Maybe from seeing articles about the movie Flow being made with Blender, or from the huge wave of 3D art popping up on your Instagram feed, or tutorials showing up in your YouTube suggestions. Or hey, maybe trying to get into it yourself. But why now, after so many years of this program existing, has it hit the mainstream so hard, and why specifically Blender? Well, I believe the 2020s has ushered us into the perfect storm for this program, and we're currently in the golden age for the 3D medium. And for those who don't know, Blender is a 3D program that is well on its way to being able to do it all. From still 3D art, to lively 3D animations, from video game ready models, to even Instagram filters. Not to mention 2D animation, visual effects, and you could even do some light video editing with the program too. One of the largest contributing factors to Blender's perfect storm of popularity is having the computing power to even use it. Home computers of the past just couldn't handle 3D software at a professional level. Compared to the last few years, you could pick up an average affordable computer from the store and be producing something with it by tonight. For reference, back in the 1990s, when Pixar was producing the first Toy Story, a single frame of animation would take anywhere from 45 minutes to 20 hours to render, and that was using an army of daisy-chain computers. And then, that one frame of rendered animation will be sent off to be processed and added into a fraction of a second it'll be on screen. And for a nice fluid animation, you typically aim for 24 of those frames for just 1 second of screen time. This process is not too much unlike a flipbook, where if you have too few frames, the animation will look choppy, so there needs to be enough in between frames for it to appear natural. As compared to nowadays, your PlayStation 5 has more impressive graphics and can render 60 of those frames per second in real time. Which leads to my second point of Blender's perfect storm of success. While modern home computing is caught up to it, it's also caught up to the modern creator's learning process. Producing 3D art and animation used to be locked behind confusing software, laborious books, and traditional educational material. As compared to now, Blender has incredibly solved its barrier of entry with its gigantic educational community behind it. The Blender community has built a culture of sharing and teaching like I have never seen before. There are so many free and donation-based courses to get started with that cater to a variety of learning styles. With a little shopping around of different teachers, you could be following along and building your first 3D model by tonight. And for the more advanced users that have a specific vision in mind, between YouTube, Discord, Reddit, independent forums, and other communities, you're welcome to search for nearly anything you can imagine to make your creation come to life. Even the creators behind the movie Flow have generously shown what's under the hood and broke down what made their movie possible. It's so cool to me you can just download the add-on they used to make the water in that movie, and so many other Blender artists do the same with the creations they share. I can't think of too many other art communities that have such a lack of gatekeeping. Now, all that isn't to say that a formal education isn't good or needed. I fully encourage people to pursue a higher education in a specific 3D field or VFX, and be open to learning other software. It would be a lie to say that it's not essential for a lot of jobs and specific applications. But today, with Blender's vast amount of resources, there is a way to survive without it. Or use Blender as a stepping stone to get into a specific 3D niche. Most of the skills are transferable. And that creates such a low barrier of entry for people to get into it. You could get started at any age, you could go your own pace at home, and you don't have to be near an American tech hub. Not to mention, the non-English speaking community is flourishing. The official manual is getting updated every day with new translations. And especially, these free community resources make it possible for those who can't afford or don't have access to college or STEM courses. Which leads to my third and final point of Blender's perfect storm of success over these last few years, and that has to be the $0 price tag. Blender is a genuinely free product, there's actually no catch. Blender's progressed past the era of 3D software that costs as much as your rent, even with a student email. and surpassed monthly subscriptions or having ads, or the pressure to find alternatives online. You get the rare alignment of it being free and quality. And it being free is made possible through the Blender Development Fund, which is powered by a mix of major players in the 3D and tech space, a dedicated monthly subscribed community, and an army of individual donations. That support has financed consistent updates to improve and innovate Blender to what it is today. Even seeing screenshots of Blender before the 2019 2.8 update feels like you're looking at a digital fossil from the Cretaceous period. That update alone modernized the software and gave it a second wind overnight. A decade ago, working with 3D software like this wasn't a possibility. It's cool to see people being able to put Blender on their resumes, and Blender being a searchable term in job hunting websites. It's cool to watch feature-length movies being made with Blender and not be this unimaginable barrier of entry, like needing a gigantic company like Pixar to produce it. And it's cool that I can make this very video with Blender. And for me personally, I have to say I owe this program everything. Not too long ago, I seriously thought 3D art was an impossible thing for me to learn, and Blender would be this revolving icon I periodically see on my desktop until I frustratingly delete it. But I feel like I've been thrown right into the eye of Blender's perfect storm. Now, I'm proud to have produced visuals that I've seen in person at the Rolling Loud main stage. It's amazing being able to see my work when I play a track on Spotify, and even getting a little hard on Instagram means the world to me. It's an inspiration to know someday I might make my own movie like Flow, and I want to keep that inspiration flowing for others. So, I posted a bunch of free downloadable assets from this very video, along with a little Blender resource guide down in the description. Absolutely no pressure to spend anything, just have fun with these. But, if you'd like to support more 3D videos like this about tech, film, and music, I got some specialty packs and additional perks there too. And hey, maybe that'll inch me a little closer to making my own movie someday.